Everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show where the Teach Better team gets to join you live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have such good things in store, friends, and Josh has no idea what this show is about to look like. I'm very, very excited. So I hope you all are ready for a killer Monday. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Ray Hewart and I am live again with the one and only Joshua Stamper. How are you, Josh?
I'm awesome. It's a little early, but I'm doing okay.
Well, we're embracing the early life, Josh. This is just every Monday's difficult to wake up, but then by Thursday we're okay, and then we go back to sleep Saturday and sleep all weekend. I don't know. It's always tiring in the morning. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't ever feel like I'm caught up, and maybe that's just because of like the million kids I have and their schedules. But like, I can't remember the last time I slept in.
But here's my thing: if you could sleep all day, let's pretend like okay, today you have nothing going on. The kids are out of the house, like maybe they're out of town with your wife. Like it's just you. The dogs are gone. Like it's just you in the house. Do you have other pets besides just dogs?
No.
Okay, so kids, dogs, wife, all gone. They're not coming back until Tuesday. So you have like all day today. Even if you slept all day, you'll still be tired tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually don't think I could sleep all day. I can sleep in a couple hours more than normal, but yeah, I don't think my body would. I think it would revolt.
They would be confused. To be honest, Leslie would get home with all the kids and all the dogs, and like the house would be clean because you were like, I didn't know what else to do with my time.
Well, like I guess we kind of experience this with 12 hour. Like when you're in one spot for a long period of time, you're still tired.
Yeah, it's true. So true. Yeah. Okay, so Josh, I knew that I was going to be live with you this morning, and I did something a little weird that we are just going to embrace. Okay. And we are going to flip the mic on you, and you are going to be in the hot seat because I have collected 10 questions. I don't think we'll be able to get through all 10, but 10 questions that our community here wants to know about you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because you're a face of the Teach Better team. People have followed your podcast for a long time. They've read your book. They've heard, we just talked about your keynotes. I think, what was that last show? Like there's a lot of things that they see you doing, but very rarely do you talk about yourself. Like you're constantly interviewing others and sharing educational, content, but I feel like unless they've heard you on a podcast as the guest, which I'm sure happens occasionally, they probably don't know a lot about you. Like
I think you're right. I mean, if I'm a guest on someone else's podcast, then yes. But as far as my podcast, typically, yes, I am asking the questions to someone else.
And we joke about the fact that you have like 900 kids. And I did just mention that you had 3 dogs, but I don't think people really know all the, details of all that. So I reached out to our community and we have 10 questions that people submitted. Obviously there were more, but I had to dwindle them down. And we had a lot of repeats. This is going to be questions for you, but it really is also just like your background in education, because you're not just some business guy who came into the Teach Better team and is helping with accounting, right? Like you had an entire life in education before you even started contributing to now what the Teach Better community gets to enjoy from you. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, I have. It feels like a lifetime ago, even though it was not that long ago when I was in the building.
Doesn't it count? Like, I feel the same way. We have a professional development we're doing at my old building here in a few weeks. And that feels just it's like a different life. It was only 4 years ago that I was there.
That's actually longer than I thought. Yeah.
Teaching full time. Yeah. Cause my last school year was 2020 into 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I transitioned into Teach Better full time and left the classroom. kind of not knowing what that would look like. But yeah, but I mean, it feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Yeah, I'm
right.
not even quite 2 years, but it does seem like quite a long time ago.
Yes. Wow. Okay. So we're going to get into these questions. That means we're going to transition into our team talk really quick into the show this time, and it'll be all right. So we'll be right back. Hey everyone, good morning. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Teach Better Today morning show. We have the Director of Innovation, Mr. Joshua _Stamper, with the Teach Better team, and we have questions from you that we're going to ask. Now, Josh, in my opinion, these should all be really funny, goofy, embarrassing questions. They're not. Apparently, our community actually wanted to ask like real things about you,
Real,
not like your
yes.
favorite color.
Sure.
So let's see how many we get through. We are for sure, even if we don't get through all 10, going to ask question 10 because I know that you're going to like it. First one, though, starting with number 1. What inspired you to pursue a career in educational leadership?
Oh, goodness. I wasn't expecting that, honestly, because I was an art teacher and a coach. I was in my 3rd year, and I was feeling like I was finally understanding what it was to be a teacher. Like, you know how you are when you're 1st year or 2nd year, you feel like you're drowning, you don't know anything, and you're just trying to figure it out as you go. So I was actually going to get coffee. I know that's a shocker for everyone, but
Huge
I was going to
shocker.
get coffee. Yes, very early in the morning because I was a coach coaching football. And I was in the staff lounge getting coffee, and I was attacked. And I say that purposely because my assistant principal sprung this on me and asking the question of, "Hey, have you ever thought about becoming a principal someday?" And it literally was like 6 a.m. in the morning. And I am not a morning person. My brain was not functioning. And so I actually laughed at him because I didn't think he was serious, because I was very young in my career. I had just started becoming a coach. But because I was a coach now and I was doing more outside of the classroom, he started to see how I was affecting the campus at a larger scale. And I mean, that was a huge kudos, for him to say that to me. And just posing the question honestly changed the trajectory of everything. We had a conversation about just what that looked like, what the steps were to get to become an administrator. And I went home, talked to my amazing wife, Leslie, and she was like, "Yeah, that makes sense. If you want to do it, go for it." And a month later, I was in my master's program for educational leadership.
A month later? Holy moly. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about one person making an impact with one question, right? I mean, like, powerful.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be here with you right now, Ray. I mean, if you think of the dominoes that fall,
Yeah.
I really truly believe that I needed that administrative experience to be in the role that I am currently. And I wouldn't have had that without that conversation.
100%. And I mean, but also in addition to all that, your podcast is so driven to be leadership focused. I mean, I listened to Aspire to Lead before we ever met, which you knew because I probably also would be described as someone who attacked you when we met. But I can't believe that even just the Aspire brand, so to speak, that exists between the podcast and the book and everything else, I guess that couldn't have existed until this transition happened as well.
No. Yeah. I mean, words are powerful. And, I always, as a leader, still to this day, love having those conversations of seeing something in someone else and bring it to the forefront to highlight that and tell them that they have the power to make a difference in the lives of others as a leader, and to see folks light up because someone noticed that and is now providing that feedback. It's so much fun and powerful. I love it.
That's so cool. I love that. That's so cool. All right. See, good question to kick us off. Next one.
Great question.
What strategies do you find most effective for fostering teacher collaboration and professional development?
Well, giving permission for one as a leader to say that that's something that teachers can do and should do, but then also giving a space to that also. So, a lot of times teachers feel like they don't have time to do certain things. So if I'm giving permission, that's one thing, but it's also another to give a platform and a space and time to do that. So if it's important, then you need to make sure that you're providing all those elements to make sure that teachers are provided that, because I don't think any teacher will say, oh, I don't think collaboration is useful or effective. I don't want to do that. If you talk to your teacher community, they're of course going to say, yes, of course, I want to have that opportunity. But then that's when you get the caveats of like, I don't have X, Y, and Z. So for me as a leader, I was always trying to take those, speed bumps or those, things that were getting in the way out. So that way there was no excuse. And, if it's important to me, then I want to make sure it's important to my staff and be able to provide that to them to have that collaboration because it's so important.
That's a great one. I like that mindset. And it's something that everybody has the ability to offer, which is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, we had a whole collaboration space built, and then we took, and built that into everyone's schedule to have that PLC time to get in there and to collaborate. So, I mean, you can look at your master schedule, you can look at the setting itself. I mean, like, it was so much different when we had a space that everyone knew could go in just to collaborate. And I think that was important to designate that.
Super important. This kind of goes, I feel like, along the same regard. Maybe you'll take it in a different direction, but do you have any initiatives that you implemented in your role in leadership that you can give a shout out to? You kind of see as a successful initiative rollout?
Oh, yeah, I had several. I mean, if you've heard me on podcasts, you probably heard me talk about my relationship action team. But one that I don't really talk about that was another initiative with Sandra Pegram was the creative. It was called Creative Corner. So it was teachers teaching teachers, and you're talking about that collaboration space, right? So what we were doing was we were trying to increase the use of technology with our teachers, but then also with our students. And to do that, we didn't want it to be a top-down initiative. We wanted to make sure that, because we know everyone's doing such amazing things in the classroom, right? So I go in and do my walkthroughs, I get this information, and be like, oh, you know what? Mrs. Smith is just killing it with this form of technology. I wish everyone did that in their classroom. So then I would go to Miss Smith and be like, hey, I love what you're doing. Do you mind sharing that with the staff through the Creative Corner? So it was after school. It was about 30 minutes long, and you could differentiate just like we would in the classroom. And that teacher then would share out the information of what they were doing. So it could be something that was specific with students, or it could just be, this is a program that I use to present information, or it could just be like, this form of technology just helps as far as the procedure of being a teacher, which saves me time, which is super valuable, obviously. So we would have this session every month, and yeah, it was voluntary. They get professional development hours, but we just saw so much benefit from that, from it being peer to peer. But then also we saw a huge jump as far as the technology use in the classroom and getting our students to be 21st century learners, but then also like being able to be fluent in a lot of different facets.
I feel like that also goes along with the next one. So there must have been like an interesting stream here, because this question essentially is asking about, if you're encouraging collaboration, how do you combat conflicts among staff members? So this is kind of looking at like handling challenges or conflicts with staff members. Did you ever work in a school where maybe two teachers didn't get along, or?
Gosh, yeah.
It must happen all the time.
Yeah.
It happens in every school, right? We always have staff members that for whatever reason don't, for whether it be a short period of time or an extended period of time, don't enjoy working together, right?
Yeah, I feel like though a lot of times it was like more to do with miscommunication and roles and responsibilities. And
Yeah.
so when we would work with our teams, and we would make sure that they made sure like that they had roles and responsibilities within that group, but then that it didn't always stay that way, that it was switched and rotated. So that way everyone had an opportunity to do things differently, because I think that's where the aminosity like came, was like, oh, this person only does this, they're not pulling their weight, or having some assumption about like how they felt as, are they important? Are they slacking? Are they not, like there's a lot of components there. So like if one person always made the copies, like, no, you need to do something else within that team. So trying to make sure that we had a better understanding of like what each person was doing specifically to that unit, but then also like making sure that those roles, like, hey, you know what, your knowledge and strength in this topic is huge, so you're going to lead this unit, and then like the next unit would rotate one out. So just making sure that everyone, it was clear as far as their roles and responsibilities, but then also like making sure that it wasn't always one person that felt like all of the work was on them, because I think that's when things got sideways within the team, because
that makes
those
sense.
things, like in the back of their mind, just feeling like, either I don't feel worthy enough to be a part of this team, or I'm taking on too much responsibility. So yeah, if we can be a little more clear, I think
that would
helps.
be helpful. Yeah, no, that's good. I think the creating a space for clarity is always a great opportunity to help with any stressful circumstance between two people. So I like that. We're going to run out of time here, but I want to make sure I at least get to this last question. There were a bunch I skipped that is too bad, because I feel like kind of shifting the mic on you is kind of fun. And I like hearing this insight from you. I know that so many of us get to enjoy it on your podcast, but there's also, I don't know, so many things that don't get discussed there. But one of the questions here that I knew I really wanted to share here for today's conversation is, what advice would you give to aspiring educational leaders looking to make a positive impact in their school?
Well, I always talk about like the Aspire Academos. The first step is to activate. And I feel like so many times in my leadership experience, especially being an administrator, that I had people come to my office and say, I want to become a leader. And they really meant by title. And you can be a leader in so many different ways, and it does not require you to have anything in front of your name. So I think sometimes as an art teacher, I had actually more power to do things than sometimes as an administrator itself. And so I would just say, take action. If you see a problem, if you see there's something that's lacking, if it's a program, if it's an initiative, coaching, whatnot, like, don't be fearful because you don't have the title. You can lead regardless. And it takes activation. It takes you getting up and getting outside your classroom to do that. So I was called an office rat for a reason. And it was because I was always in the front office asking, what can I do? How can I support? And I don't think that changed now with the Teach Better team. I still am an office rat. But I think that even though it doesn't sound very nice, that it was a compliment from the administrative team, because they knew that they could lean on me. And so I would just say, activate, just get up, find where the need is, and serve regardless of your title.
So good. Friends, if you want to hear more answers from Josh, feel free to continue to submit those questions. Or if you want to flip the mic on any other member of our Teach Better team or Teach Better community, make sure you reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we not only get them booked on the show, but also have a bank of questions from all of you to continue to learn more about the people around us. Josh, thanks so much for answering those questions and putting you a little bit on the spot.
I love having the mic flip. That was fun.
That's so good. All right, friends, have an amazing rest of your day. Let us know if you need anything. And happy, what is today? Monday? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.